Okay, let's take a look at the actual notebook sample code that captures the idea of the shopper's conscious demonstration. This is a published notebook sample, so you can take a look at it in detail if you're interested. So I'll skip those details for now and just start with installing the ADK. So to get started with ADK, it's super simple. You can just pip install Google ADK and that's it. And you may want to import those required libraries at first. Also, you have to set those the environment variables to get started with the ADK by specifying the project IDs and locations and so on. So before diving into the details of our agent, we'll be defining test functions for the agent. Usually, agents will be running in a runtime environment like an agent or agent engine product. But for these notebooks, we define a simple runtime called test agent function. I don't discuss in details about what is the runtime for the agents, but take a look at the agent runtime documentations for details. So here's the first definition of our shop agent. It's just a simple basic agent with the Gemini 2.0 Flash model without any external tools or such capability at these times. So let's test it by using the test agent runtime. What kind of the site is this? Then agent would respond, I am a shop agent for an e-commerce site with millions of items. So this is the foundation of our demonstration. Now we'll be adding the vector search capability, item search capability to the agent. To do so, at first, we'd like to define a call vector search function to call the vector search backend. Actually, this is just an HTTP request function, as we'll be using the existing public vector search backend. So we don't actually going through building the vector search index and endpoint and so on. We just make a HTTP request to the existing backend. This function takes the URL of the endpoint, the actual query from the user, and how many rows we want to return to the agent. So let's define that. And now we will wrap the call vector search function with an ADK tool named find shopping items tool. So this is just a wrapper function for the previous function, but the thing is, by defining the proper function names and the signatures like the parameters and the doc string, so the agents can take a look at the function signatures like a function name, parameter names, and doc strings to understand the functionality each tool can provide. So you have to be very clear on writing those doc strings, like this one, define shopping items for the e-commerce site, and that takes the arguments, which is queries, the list of the queries to run, and this function returns a dict of the following one property, status, or the items, which is the list of the items found the e-commerce site. So by defining this kind of the tool function, the agent can easily use that, understand that, and use that on the fly. So let's try this tool by parsing the two sample queries, cups with dancing people and dancing animals. And then it issues the actual queries to the vector search backend and get the result like this. So now it's ready to extend our shop agent with the search capability. And here we have added one paragraph to the instruction. To find items, use find shopping items tool by passing the list of queries and answer to the user with the item's name and description and image URL. And also another things we have added is the tools parameter when creating the agent object by passing the find item function. That's it. So that now the agent is aware of the existing of the find items tool and use that when it is required. Let's try the agent with the cups with dancing figures. Then the agent thinks, oh, to solve this problem, you have to use the find shopping items tool and calls that and passes the result to the user like this. Now we will be adding one more agent called the research agent. That is a market research agent using the Google search on generating a query based on the search results from the Google search. Let's take a look at the actual instructions we passed to this agent. When you receive a search query, search request from a user, use Google search tool to research on what kind of the items people are purchasing for the user's intent. Then generate 5 queries finding those items on the e-commerce site and return them. So this is the role of this agent. And one big benefit you can get with ADK is that to use Google search as the grounding source, you can just refer to the Google search tool. This is a built-in tool, so you don't have to define it by yourself. And so you can just write this line and import the Google search like this, and that's it. You can easily access to the Google search as the grounding source. Let's test this. So for the query like birthday present for 10 years old boy, it now made a query with the Google search and generated 5 queries like this: STEM kits, sports equipment, building sets, outdoor gear, and games. Now with those all capabilities, we can finalize the shop agent. We define the instruction like this. First, the agent should do the market research using the research agent as we defined previously. So that the research agent will generate the 5 queries and share those generated queries with the user first and ask if they want to continue with the search. The second step is the find items using the find shopping items tool. So by passing those 5 queries to the this find shopping items tool, you can get the result from the vector search backend. And as you can see in these demonstrations, we have used the research agent as a tool. This is a design pattern so-called agent as a tool. So rather than having the 2 agent as a peer multi-agent system, we are using the sub agent as a tool. So the main agent, the shop agent, takes all the control over the multi-agent systems. So let's test the final shop agent with these all capabilities. So first, when you ask with the query like, can you find a birthday present, then it uses the research agent to generate those queries by using Google search. Those generated queries are like STEM kits, Lego sets, and remote control cars. And it asks you, do you want me to search for items using these queries? So you will say yes to that. Then the agent uses the find shopping items tool to use the vector search backend to get the final result, as you see. So with these demonstrations, we have shown a so-called generative recommendation capability that uses the not only the vector search backend, it also uses the external tools such as the Google search tool to extend the queries based on the user's intent to get more the relevant and interesting and fun result from the e-commerce website.